Today we're going to discuss if a 90s Chevy truck, GMC truck, is the right selection for you. Let's get to it. Welcome back, YouTube. Today we're going to discuss if a 90s Chevy truck, GMC truck, is the right selection for you. Let's get to it. All right, today we're looking at my son's 1999 Chevy Suburban. He bought it for $1,000. You can find these pretty cheap if you go on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. I want to give you guys some things to look for, the good things and the bad. This actually might be a really good option for you. Me personally, I've owned 8 of these trucks. This is number 6 for our family. This one is rusty. The frames are not that bad on these things, but the wheel wells, these usually rust out on them pretty bad. The doors, they do as well, right along the bottoms, and you get some just regular rust, especially back here. They rust out a lot. The frames are not that bad usually. Right back here they're rusty, back here they're usually rusty, but the frames themselves usually don't get that bad of rust. When you're looking at ads trying to buy one of these, they should cost no more than about $2,000. $2,500 max is what you want to pay, no matter if their interior's in immaculate condition and all this stuff. It's just, they're not worth it. Look for the ones that are about $175,000 to $195,000, because you're going to get probably about 240 to 250,000 miles just by doing general maintenance. The transmissions on these things are terrible. They're like the Achilles heel of these things. What you're going to want to ask when you're talking to the person about buying the vehicle is you're going to want to ask them at that mileage, 175 to 195,000, if it has a rebuilt transmission and if they can prove it by paperwork. If you find one that has not had the transmission replaced, walk away from it, because it will be going out. The engines, they go forever. One of the things that usually go out right around 200,000 miles is the U-joints on the drive shafts. Like if you're going up over a hill and you start coming down the hill and you're in cruise control, the car will start to shake when the U-joints start going out, and they're not that much money. They have to be pressed in. You'll have to find a machine shop or someone that can do it, a mechanic that can press the U-joints in for the drive shafts. Another thing about these Chevys, as you can see the door, it's not square. A lot of times when you open them up, the doors fall down. Like they go down, and when you pick them up, or when you close the door, you'll have to pick them up and close them. I'm going to show you guys a trick in the next video about how to cure that. An old body shop guy, probably in the 70s, used to make lead sleds and stuff like that. He showed me a little fast trick, so I'm going to show you guys that, how to fix that. If your door hangs down, you have to pull it up. Kind of if you have that door, you'll understand what I'm talking about. It's really easy and it's really simple. You don't even have to do anything with the hinges. It's great. This one is cloth interior, has a push button, 4-wheel drive, but when you get the ones with leather, they're usually ripped right here, and they usually rip across and down in here. What I use to fix the seats when they're ripped in the leather ones, you use a hook that's kind of a heavy gauge steel, but it's hooked like this, and you can thread it on one side, and I use fishing line. Believe it or not, when you do that and you make the seams real nice and tight, and when you sew them and stuff, that will last probably longer than your truck will last. It has 300,000 miles and it's dead. I mean, it starts right up. Let me start it up for you guys. It's a good truck. The tack, don't pay attention to that. That thing's whacked out. These trucks will nickel and dime you. The door handles usually break on them, so you have to get the outside ones. That cheap aluminum or whatever they use, casting, does not work. And also on these, the door handles. The door handles, they're supposed to be flush like this, but as you can see, it's coming out. It is broke inside there. It's not fully broke, but when it gets to this point, you're gonna have to replace it. They're riveted inside, so you're gonna have to replace the rivets, the piece, and everything else. These do break a lot. But watch, it does work, but it is broke still. See? A lot of the mirrors break or fall off on these. Let me pop the hood for this thing. Okay, it's your regular 350. One thing that goes out on these all the time is the map sensor. It's back here. You can do it. It's not too hard. It's like 60 bucks to replace it. The fuel pump goes out on these right around 200 to 220,000 miles. It's in the gas tank. You want to have your gas tank not full when you change it because it's inside the gas tank, it's bare. The water pumps are in front. They're easy to replace. Serpentine belt, that's easy to replace. Transmissions though are terrible in this thing. These knobs usually fall off. The LEDs behind it, the light behind it at nighttime, they go out. The blower down here is not hard to fix, so you can fix that yourself for these controls. I've never really had any transfer case problems. A lot of times with this back door, these back barn doors, yeah, they rust down here too. But these back barn doors, they get kind of crazy, they get stuck. As you can see, they break back here because they're cheap too. All you have to do is push it down. But in the back here, to open up this door, a lot of times these ones go out all the time. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to, I don't know if I can show you guys or not. God, this thing's so dirty. There's this bar down here. It's just like a rod you have to pull down with a vice grip or Lyman's or channel locks, whatever you have, and this door will open up. It does have a full spare in the back. Me personally, the best years to buy of these style of 90s Suburbans is a 96 or a 97. I've owned a 95, I've owned a 96, I've owned a 97, 98, 99, and I think two of them were 97. One was a 2500, and that thing was a tank. That was a really, really good truck. These Suburbans, believe it or not, they get about 19 miles per gallon on the highway, 13 and 15 miles per gallon in town. People say, no, that's not possible. Yeah, it is. You just use the regular gas and stuff. You don't really need premium or nothing. The transmissions, these things are not made to do burnouts, son. These things are not made to do donuts, son. But if you beat your stuff, it's not going to last, especially these ones. But if you buy one of these, you find it for under 2,500 bucks, between 175 and 195,000 miles with a rebuilt transmission. I mean, you're going to have little nickel and dime things that are going to break and everything else. But if you only want it to last to about 240,000 miles, so you're looking at between 40 and 60,000 miles you can get out of it for 2,500 bucks, four-wheel drive. It's not too bad of a deal, guys. It really isn't. The tires are expensive. My son just replaced those front two, and that was almost $400. Transmissions are expensive on this truck. You're looking at $1,500 at least. I will not buy a used that kind of transmission for the life of me. I would just get one that's been rebuilt. I had a 99, kind of like this, but mine was the nicer version of it. I changed all the fuel injectors and everything else, and that one died from some electrical short. Another thing these things are notorious for is the ground on the wiring for the blinkers, especially if you have a trailer hitch or something like that. But your grounds have to be perfect. So if you guys are looking for a pretty dependable vehicle, buy it between 175 and 195,000. Make sure the transmission's rebuilt. Take her for a test drive. You're gonna have to replace a few things here and there, but she'll last between 240 and 260 with no problems. Well, thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. Hello, my new subscribers. Means a lot. Broke over 3,000, guys. That's awesome. Thank you very much. But thank you again, guys. You guys take care of yourself. Be kind. See you next one. Bye-bye. You're sick. You're gonna die.